Welcome to Introduction to Yoga. I'm so happy that you're taking this opportunity to explore, to learn, to maybe take your first steps into what yoga is all about. And I know that people have different ideas about what yoga is, so I thought I'd spend a few moments just talking about a couple myths about yoga. It can be mysterious, and it seems like you see other people doing it, and there are a lot of things that could be intimidating, but I want to cover some of this so that you feel like it's completely accessible to you. So one of the most common things that I hear from people about practicing yoga is that they can't do yoga because they're not flexible. And I want everybody to know that the pictures that you see of people doing all these positions that are, they're all wrapped up with their arms and legs, are more the extreme than the norm. And we all have challenges with flexibility. And one of the points of practicing yoga is to become flexible or to stay flexible. So wherever you're at, flexible, more or less, yoga, it's a perfect time to start practicing yoga and develop more flexibility if that's what you'd like. Another comment I often hear is, well, I'm too old to practice yoga. And I'll share with you that one of the things that attracted me most to yoga was when I explored and learned more about it, I understood that yoga is not just about moving your body. Yoga is about how you think about your body, how you think about your life, what's in your heart, and how you want to live your life. And yoga is something as simple as breathing. There's always something about yoga that can be helpful and useful. And so we're never too old to practice yoga. Many people will say, I don't have time to practice yoga, I'm too busy. And honestly, we are busy, and everybody has a lot going on, taking care of ourselves, taking care of other people. Yoga can, most classes actually, I'll say, last an hour. It can be a shorter practice if you find a short video or whatever, but you will benefit from practicing yoga even if it's for 3 minutes. Taking the opportunity to take 3 to 5 minutes just to do a few small movements, to pause and collect your thoughts, is something that can easily fit into a day, first thing in the morning, just pausing during the day. So it doesn't have to be a commitment to a class that's going to go on for a long time. A lot of people will say to me, well, yoga is too hard, too many things that you have to do. And then other people will say, well, it's too easy. And the good thing about yoga is that you can find something that's just right for you. There's gentle yoga, there's senior yoga, there's very active yoga, there's very challenging physical yoga. It's from completely one end of the spectrum to the other. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you can find. Yoga offers something for everybody. Other misconceptions about having to have the right clothes or getting a tattoo or having a certain look. And I want to remind everybody that there is a sort of a tendency in something that's becoming popular to commercialize it. And that's what gives us those impressions that we have to look a certain way or have certain clothes or certain equipment. And I invite you to ignore all that. You can practice yoga while you're washing dishes at the sink. You can practice yoga while you're at a red light in your car. And nobody will ever know. There's so many ways you can bring it into your life, and doesn't require all of those things that you see on TV. So just stepping into what yoga means, moving past some of those barriers, possibly myths, give us reasons to think why we may not be right for it. So yoga the word actually means to yoke. And to yoke means unite. So in yoga, we practice uniting our bodies with our minds and our breath. So as I mentioned, it's not just about moving your body in a certain way. It's about how we think about our movements, how we think about being in this moment, how we use our breath to help guide our bodies and calm our thoughts. Meditation is a wonderful practice, using the breath to create calm, peace, space in the mind with everything that's happening in our world. We can find yoga helps us to get rid of a lot of what's happening on the outside and allows us to be more mindful of what's happening on the inside. One of the nice aspects about being able to unite the body, mind, and the breath is that we can just be present in this moment. We worry so much about what happened yesterday, what's going to happen later today or tomorrow or next week, and we spend so much of our time with things that have already happened or things that we don't know are they're going to happen, and we kind of forget that we have opportunities in every moment to appreciate what's right here. So that presence is a really valuable aspect. We miss so much when we aren't recognizing and noticing what's right here in this moment. So the practice of yoga helps us to develop a sense of awareness of what's right here. And we can carry that throughout difficult situations as we do move through things in our lives that can be challenging, or as we reflect on things that have been difficult. We bring ourselves back to the present and remember that this is what's happening right now. And most of the time, there are a lot of good things that we can notice right this moment. Another really important aspect about yoga is that it is focused on the goodness of each person. So we recognize the good in each person, and it's important to recognize the good within ourselves. We fill our worlds with judgment of ourselves, sometimes of other people, which is not helpful. It doesn't serve us well. We need to remind ourselves, even as we struggle, that we are all doing the best we can. Everybody's doing the best they can, and that everybody has that innate goodness. So compassion is important in yoga, to be compassionate with yourself, and then we learn to be compassionate with other people. So I wanted to share just a little bit of insight about using the word namaste. And namaste is a word that we use typically at the end of practice, and it technically means the light in my heart honors the light in yours. And that's how we recognize the goodness in each person. So talking about benefits of yoga, physical benefits of yoga, we do look to that to develop strength. That's one of the aspects, developing strength in our muscles, strength in our minds, our brain muscle, and our tendons and all of the ligaments that support our body. All of those can become stronger through yoga practice. They also become more flexible. So flexibility is a positive aspect of moving the body during yoga. We also develop flexibility of the mind. So we become more adaptable, more conscious of the goodness of people. So we tend to be a little less judgmental. So we have that ability to see things in different ways when we look at things from a more compassionate perspective. And then the heart is the development of the heart and finding the wisdom within you is one of the huge benefits of yoga. Connecting with yourself, being present, knowing yourself, giving yourself the time to get to know yourself, all helps you build awareness of who you are, who you want to be, and how you can support that. Have purpose and meaning in your life and feel that you're reaching the potential that you're meant to reach. So just one last note, we'll move into some movements here shortly. We use the breath in yoga practice to unite all of those parts, the mind, the body, the spirit, the breath. The breath is the key to bringing those things together. And the reason that that works is because when we are focusing on the breath, we are not focusing on other things. So if we take a moment to just notice, just inhale right now, close the eyes and inhale. And if all you think about is what's happening with your breath, the inhale comes in through the nose. What does that feel like? What sensations do you notice? The coolness of the air, maybe the opening of the upper body. Paying attention, being present and aware of those sensations. And then just go ahead and relax. You can open the eyes. Allows us to focus within, and the things that are going on outside of us, we don't notice as much. Breath helps connect us with everything that's going on outside of us. We do have that sense of connection, but it also helps us connect within and what's going on inside of us. So before we get started, just a few tips during our practice. Remember that there is no right or perfect way to do any pose in yoga. It's called a practice. So we're not attempting to get to any particular point. So be kind to yourself, be compassionate. There's no need for judgment. And being critical if somebody else can do something and you can't do it. It's where you're at, whatever you're doing is perfect for this day. And so a phrase I like to use in practicing, and if we're moving in a certain way and it doesn't feel right and you need to make an adjustment, you just take what you need and leave the rest. You choose always what your practice is like, what feels right for you. I'd like to take a moment before we start moving to make sure that you are sitting in a chair, and we'll be using a chair today and standing just for a few things. But while we're sitting, make sure that you have a chair that fits you, so that your feet can be connected to the earth, and at the same time, your back can feel supported. So if you need to find a pillow or a towel or something behind your back to kind of bring your body forward so your feet can feel really connected and that you're comfortable, feel free to do that at this point. Also make sure that your chair is not going to slide around. It has non-skid feet on it. And putting it on a mat. It can be anywhere on a mat or carpet or wood floor, just so that it's not going to slide. And then I encourage people to practice without socks or shoes on, but if you feel like you need to have something on your feet, please wear shoes and not just socks. Socks can be slippery on wood floors and on carpeting, and want everybody to be safe and enjoy their practice. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Just find a comfortable seat, feeling connection between the bottoms of your feet and the earth, and good support in your back so that you can completely relax. As we come into the practice, just taking some moments to create a sense of awareness in this present moment. And as we practiced already, take a nice in breath through the nose. And just allow it to release and escape through the nose. If it feels better to you, if you've been carrying tension and stress and you want to take a big breath in through the nose, open the mouth and just let it escape with a sigh out through the mouth, releasing, letting go of the tension, stress. Inhale again. Let's do that again together. Inhale, big breath through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And then return to a natural breath and notice Perhaps some softening in the chest, the shoulders, the breath moving in and relaxing with the exhale. The next in-breath, place your hands on the low belly. Allow the breath to come all the way into the low belly, letting the belly grow and get big, expanding into your hands. And then emptying the belly out through the nose. This time, bring your one hand to your rib cage or the middle part of your belly. Inhale, let the breath fill up the lower part and then the middle part of your upper body, into the belly, into the rib cage. And release, letting go. Next, place the palm of your hand on your chest. We'll fill up the entire upper body, starting with the breath going into the deep into the belly, into the rib cage, and then filling the chest. Breathing in and exhale, letting go. One more time. Excellent. So we're creating a sense of calm, spaciousness, freedom, for flexibility, and focusing on the breath and moving how it moves the body gives us the opportunity to just check out of what's happening in the world around us. And now bring the hands to the lap. I'm going to scoot forward on my seat a little bit, and that'll allow a little bit more movement. We're just going to move into the shoulders. So bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. Feet are hip width apart. Keeping the chest lifted, just bring one shoulder up towards the ear. Doesn't matter which shoulder, and then release it. And then the second shoulder up towards the ear and release. And move that again up and second side. And this time, bring both shoulders up. You can combine it with the breath. So you're allowing the breath, letting the breath to help you with your movements. Inhale, bring shoulders to ears. Exhale, roll the shoulders back and down and forward. Inhale again, up. And exhale back. I'm noticing how beautifully the breath knows, almost instinctually, how to guide that movement. Pausing here, we'll reverse directions. Inhale, the shoulders come back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Back and up. And forward and down. And now pause here. Bringing the arms straight out in front of you. And if possible, opening wide. Keep the chest lifted. Inhale. Exhale, cross the arms one over the other. Give yourself a hug. Bring the hands wherever they land, the tops of your arms, maybe your shoulders. Pause here. Inhale, exhale, release. Inhale again. Exhale, cross the arms the opposite way. So whatever arm was on top before, bring that on top this time. Enjoy the stretch in the back between the shoulder blades. And exhale, release. I'm going to turn sideways here. Bring your arms down to the side or perhaps to the back of your chair. And if it's accessible, you can bring your hands behind your back. Maybe your fingers will connect. Keeping your feet on the floor, inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, open the space between your shoulders and the front. One more time. Nice, nice. And then relax and come back to center. So we're gonna just practice a little bit of movement twisting. So I invite you to bring your feet hip width apart, the hands on top of the thighs. Lift the chest and just begin to Slowly rotate your abdomen to one side, the shoulders and the head will go with it. So you feel your hands sliding forward and backward on your thighs as you rotate your abdomen, your shoulders and your head. So engaging the whole upper body and twisting, wringing out some of the tension, massaging the internal organs, and then coming back to center. We're going to get ready to stand up now, and I'm going to turn sideways again and demonstrate a good way of standing up so that we're actually using the leg muscles and the lower body rather than putting a load on the back body, on the spine. With our legs can do a lot of that work for us. Find the hip crease here. Bring your hand, pinky side of your hand to the hip crease and just staying connected with that. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Connect with the earth with your feet. Inhale. Activate the thighs and come up to standing. Nice. And then come around to the side of your chair. And I'd like to invite you to practice tree pose. And I'll scoot my chair over just a little bit because one of the things that we think about as we get older, or even as if we're younger, is balance. Maintaining balance is a very good skill to maintain for keeping us safe as we go through our daily lives. So in tree pose, I invite you to stay connected to your chair with your hand, and always can use a wall. That's a good support. Coming to a standing pose, connect your, doesn't matter which foot you start with, so just connect your foot to the earth and shifting your weight to that connected foot. You bring your opposite foot to one of three positions. You can choose whatever you want your tree pose to be. Tree pose option 1 is to bring the bottom of your foot to the inside of your standing ankle. Stay connected to the chair. You put a hand on that side, you can go to the waist. And keeping the chest lifted, you can also bring the hand to the shoulder. You can bring the arm up in what we often recognize as tree pose. You can bring the hands, one hand or both hands, to the heart center. And pause, and this is a balancing challenge. It's helpful to find a focal point in the distance. So you keep your eyes gazed forward, and you might want to shift your gaze to find just that right spot that helps connect your brain to your body for balance. And then bring the hands down. Always stay connected if you're feeling unsteady and stable. The second option for tree pose is to bring the inside of the bottom of the foot to the inside of the calf on the standing leg. And the same options apply. Bringing the hands to heart center, above the head, staying connected to the chair. The third option is bringing the foot to the inside of the thigh. And the same options for the arms. So you can play around with that a little bit. Finding a focal point, finding connection, support from a wall or the chair, and then releasing. And moving to the second side, either at the ankle. And feel free to pause this at any time to explore a little bit longer. This is something that you may want to take a little bit more time with. We're moving towards the end. And then coming back to standing position. So we'll do one more pose, standing pose. I'm going to turn my chair sideways, warrior 1, which is a nice grounding pose. It allows us to feel grounded to the earth, but also allows us to connect outward. So I'm going to come up and stand by the back of my chair, place both hands on the upper part, and step one foot back so that the back heel connects with the earth and the front leg is bent. So the knee is over the foot. Keeping my chest lifted, inhale and straighten the front leg, lift the back heel, exhale, return the heel and bend the leg. And again. So moving the lower body, flexing and stretching. Feel free to add the arms, one arm, maybe upward and back. Maybe two arms can come straight out or come up a little bit. Maybe lift the gaze and then back. And now step that foot forward. Second foot goes back. And just moving to the second side, connecting the back heel. Inhale, come up to straightening the front leg. And I enjoy in this practice rolling the back foot, noticing the movement coming all the way up on the tiptoes, and then what it feels like to roll through the whole bottom of the foot, the ball, and then back down to the heel. One more time. So we're moving the lower body and the upper body in a nice, smooth, rhythmic fashion. And then back. Really nice. And then step your foot forward. And I'm going to turn my chair around this way. And go ahead and find a seat again. The same way I got up, finding the hip crease here, bending at the knees, using my thigh muscles, my leg muscles. Make sure you locate the seat behind you before you actually begin to sit. Inhale and exhale, having a seat. So we'll finish our practice today with a seated twist of the upper and lower body. So I'm going to sit forward on my chair a little bit, feet hip width apart. And I'm going to ask you to just allow your knees to fall to the right, keeping your hands on top of your thighs. And then begin to turn your abdomen, your shoulders, and your head to the left. And then reversing, coming to center, going to the second side. And coming to center. And the second side. And back to center. And now I'll sit back in my chair and prepare for a few moments at the end of practice to allow the body, the mind, the heart to bring all of this together and to use it in the way that it knows to do. It's important to take this time to slowly settle in and rest. Give the body time to rest. We sometimes forget the importance of that. Just having the hands rest comfortably in the lap and the back supported so that you can be completely relaxed. Close the eyes and allow the breath to easily move in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you need to let a big breath escape, go out through the mouth. Otherwise, inhale through the nose and then slowly out through the nose. As you allow the breath to move into the chest and the upper body, notice a sense of slowing down, calming, settling. Shoulders are heavy, the arms are resting heavily in the lap. The hips are sinking into the surface beneath them, the chair supporting all the weight of your body. The earth supporting the legs and the feet. And pausing here. for a few breaths of complete stillness. And one or two more. And now slowly bringing the hands together, palms facing at the heart center, bowing to the heart. The light in my heart honors the light in each of yours. Namaste. Lower the hands, lift the head, open the eyes. Thank you so much for being here, being part of this process of living. I hope you enjoyed this intro, and I hope that you find many benefits from your yoga practice.